Hello there and welcome to Star Wars 1000. Star Wars question of the day: should they continue the Legends timeline? Now, what I mean by that is I'm not saying completely stop the canon timeline. I think they should still make new canon stories because I've gotten invested in the canon and I'm still invested in Legends. So I'd like to see both. I don't see what the problem is with making new Legends stories, while at the same time continuing to make new canon stories. In my personal opinion, I really do think Legends should continue. I think they should continue what they started. They have so much material there and so many storylines still going, and some things never got like a proper conclusion. I don't see why they can't continue the Legends timeline. Do they think they're going to confuse the fan base? Because, the canon right now is kind of confusing as it is because you retcon your own material all the time, and it's like, it's already confusing as it is. If you add Legends and label it Legends, say it's part of the Legends timeline, I don't see why you can't make new Legend stories. I think it will make a lot of fans happy, especially Legends fans. And it was always seen as an alternate universe, you know? That's how I saw it. It was, no matter what, Legends was always going to be an alternate universe, and it was always going to continue making stories in that timeline, no matter what George Lucas did with his sequels. I believe, not confirming, I believe that the Legends timeline was going to continue making new stories, and it already set up so much. It has so much going on. I just don't see why they couldn't continue making new stories for Legend. Also, it will make them a lot of money, just in general. I mean, Legends was a popular thing. The expanded universe was popular. Why not continue Legends? And I just like to see some of these stories wrapped up properly. Like, how did Luke Skywalker die? Like, there's just still so much stuff that could be expanded more. We could see more into the future of the Legends timeline. We could see more into the past. There's just so much history in that timeline. And if they continue it and continue making new stories for Legends, it could give them more revenue. It could make Legends and EU fans happy so they can, like, calm down, because they're still pretty pissed about Legends not continuing. And I've been rereading a lot of my favorite Legends books recently, and I'm just like, I want to see a conclusion to the Legends era. I want to see a conclusion to the Legends storyline. I want to see how Luke Skywalker died. I want to see what happened to some of these other characters, and just a lot of unknowns. Now, if Legends does continue, they do have the risk of backlash of new stories, because I feel like whatever they do with the new Legends stories, there's going to be some sort of, like, not a lot of fans, like, not happy with certain things that they do, because there's going to be different writers, and I don't really know how that will all turn out. I think I still want to see Legends continue. And another thing that they could do too is they could adapt a lot of the Legends stories into, like, animated movies, like make an animated show, and, like, just have it be about adapting Legend stories. I think that would be pretty cool too. Like, just imagine seeing the Thrawn trilogy set of books made into an animated movie with music and actors playing the characters. That would be pretty cool, and I think that would make them a good amount of money too. It's just adapting from the book to the animation form in the TV screen, and it could be like a mini series or a TV series on Disney Plus, just them adapting popular Legends stories, and I think that would be pretty cool. So, should Star Wars Legends continue? I personally believe yes. I really don't see the harm in continuing Legends. It's not going to be confusing, because it might be confusing for some people if you just label the new books Legends. I think people can put two and two together. This is not part of the canon, and also the canon is already kind of confusing as it is, because it kind of pisses me off a little bit, but that they retconned the Canon book, because that Kanan Jarrus book was pretty good in my opinion, and then the Bad Batch just comes in there and just retcons such a good story. So they retconned their own material for better or for worse. I do remember they retconned Yoda's lightsaber being destroyed, and that was for the better in my opinion, but them retconning the Kanan comics, that was for the worse in my opinion, because I really like the Kanan comic book. Unless there's legal reasons I'm missing and not looking at, I do not see the problem with Legends continuing. I think it will make a lot of fans happy. It will make myself happy as someone that likes a lot of Legends. At the same time, I don't like a lot of Legends too, because if I had to, like, make a list of my favorite Star Wars stories of all time, Legends there'd be, like, mainly all Legend stories as my favorites, and mainly all Legend stories for my least favorites, because Legends got some really bad apples too, in my opinion. At the same time, they brought me some of my favorite all-time Star Wars stories. Knights of the Old Republic is my favorite Star Wars thing ever. Thrawn trilogy is one of my favorite Star Wars things ever. You have characters like Kyle Katarn, Mara Jade, Ferris Olin. I bet no one really knows him because he barely gets talked about, but I really like Ferris. If y'all a fan of him, he's had a connection with Anakin and Obi-Wan and stuff. But yeah, but my point is that I feel like Star Wars Legends should continue, even if while continuing the canon as well. I just view Legends as an alternate universe, and I don't see why they can't explore the alternate universe. It's like when with Marvel, that Marvel has their main timeline, and they did have the Ultimate Universe timeline, but they had both going on at the same time, and I don't see why Star Wars can't do the same thing. That's just my opinion. Maybe you guys don't want to see Star Wars Legends continue because you think it'll make things confusing, or maybe, I don't know, whatever your reasons for why it shouldn't continue. I'm not saying it should replace the canon. I think it should just be continuing while the canon continues its thing. Legends will continue their thing, and that's just my opinion. So, to wrap up the video, may the Force be with you always.